Before we start this episode, I need everybody out there. Do me a favor. Comment below. Are you watching because of Angel or are you watching because of me, the advocate? Let me know. I think it's because of me. He thinks it's because of him. It's got to be because of me. Put it in the comments below. Just be honest. It could be because of him, but it's probably because of me.
You're listening to Angel and the Advocate, a podcast with licensed contractor Angel Chavez and California licensed attorney and advocate Amir Afsar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Angel and the Advocate podcast. Over there is Angel, and I am the advocate, Amir. It's good to see everybody figuratively and literally here on the podcast. On this week's episode, Angel is going to ask me a question. I don't know what the question is. He was going to, break me in with what the question was just moments ago, but I told him, well, what's the point of that? It's not like I can prepare myself, so you might as well hit me with the surprise question. So I guess, unless you have something else to say, it's time for the surprise question.
Thank you for joining another episode of the podcast. Thank you guys for being here, those 15 people.
I already said that.
All right, sorry.
15, it's going to be way higher than that now.
Yeah. 25.
55.
Let's
go for the shoot for the moon.
So,
Angel's mom just clicking reload, refresh over and over again. All right, go ahead.
She'll watch my TikToks in English, and she doesn't understand English, so she'll just comment emojis.
That's awesome.
That's how
that's great.
She supports, day one.
That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly.
So, so if you had to start, if you went back to zero, let's say something happened, whatever.
Oh boy.
And you had to start from zero, and you had $1,000. How would you get to 10,000? What business would you start? Like, you can't use your
crypto.
Dog.
No, I'm just kidding.
How would you turn 1,000 to 10,000?
Oh boy.
With no degrees, I guess just like your.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The hustle. What would be the hustle of choice?
Yeah.
That's a good question. $1,000. What would I do with it? And I got to turn it into obviously maximize it, right? The goal is to do
10,000. But yeah, after that, I'm gonna say from.
But if I make 11, I'm supposed to be mad because I was supposed to only make 10. No, I don't know. That's a really good question. For me, my entire career has been this law firm lawyer pathway, which $1,000 isn't gonna cut it, right? The $1,000 isn't gonna be enough to get you through law school. I mean, I guess you get some loans, maybe get some paid off by the government. That's a whole different topic, right? But, I'm not really, that's a really good question. I think the first thing that jumps to mind is anything related to Ubering and any of that kind of gig economy, right? Like rideshare type stuff. I always think it's I think there's money to be made in the Uber side of things. I think you could take your car, you could continue to make it cooler than the average one, put a strobe light in there, a fog machine, make it kind of cool, make it like a little party bus, right? And then don't charge extra. Just pick people up and have a cooler than the average Uber and watch your tips be significantly higher, right? I think things like that would maybe be a good approach. So maybe I would take, assuming I have a car, and then I could take $1,000. Maybe I would take 100 or 200 of the 1,000 and kind of, make the car look a little cooler, give it its own social media, kind of give it its own little buzz that you want to, see if you're lucky and can land a ride in this, Uber vehicle or whatever. And then just start grinding on the Uber grind. And I still have $800 left. At least in this hypothetical example, right? Like I said, I think that gig delivery, I think that's a good place to start. I think it's a good place where you can kind of start and add up. The other thing that always comes to mind is if you have the idea that you have things and knowledge of your own that you can share with others. So I'm a little bit of a car junkie. If there's a way you could use those resources to, wash cars or start a car wash, mobile car wash hustle, something like that. I always think that's another good way. Oftentimes you're able to use resources of the person whose house you're washing their car at, right? You use their water, for example. And then all you have to do is bring soap and the materials or what have you. So I think things like that, things where you could do a service that's something that you're actually interested in. The problem with the car wash thing is it's more difficult to scale. There's no way to really blow it up into 100 car washers washing cars in 100 different towns. That'd be a little bit harder to do it like that. But generally speaking, I think that would be the thing to do. I also think, to the people listening out, I'm going to give away one of my secrets right now. I don't know if I should do that. If you go to a tropical destination, Hawaii always comes to mind. If you go to Austin, Texas, if you go to San Francisco, if you go to anywhere where there's a tourism-driven economy, there's usually a single specific item you have to try. You have to, hey, look, you went to Kansas City, you got to try the barbecue. You went to Nashville, you need to try the Nashville hot chicken. You went to San Francisco, you got to try, what is it, Rice-A-Roni San Francisco treat? I don't know if it's that. It might be Ghirardelli's chocolate. I mean, there's just, when you go to certain places, there's a thing that you need to try. Hawaii, it's macadamia nuts or pineapple, right? It's the desert needs to go hard on one item. I think it's like the date, right? The desert needs to go hard with like the date, pushing date, chocolate covered dates, peanut butter dates, dates with bacon wrap dates, like whatever ways we can push dates to make it much more of a like the macadamia nuts in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in Hawaii goes home with like a little macadamia nut, chocolate covered macadamia nut to give to their friends, to give to their family members. The desert needs to go hard in something like that. Like I personally, I don't really love dates myself, so it's kind of funny that I say that that's the thing. But I always think that there's a lot of people that do like dates.
There's so many date farm people, and there's National Date Festival. They were trying to make it a thing back then.
Yeah, I mean, they still are.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe at least they still are. And I'm pretty sure we're one of the only, if not the only community that can grow dates year round in our climate. So like dates should be our thing. So then once dates are our thing, you should be selling swag that has dates on it, like date shirts, date jokes, date hats.
Dude,
should be like a date mascot.
I think you just gave me a $1 billion idea.
I'm just saying the idea, like every other tourist like destination has the thing that you take with you to go back and share with everybody at home. It could be like Kansas City barbecue sauce. I mean, it's not just like, I mean, Hawaii is a really obvious one because people ship pineapples back. They take pineapples on the airplane. They buy chocolate covered macadamia nuts, boxes by the dozens, right? To come home and hand out to their friends.
Yeah.
Right. So the desert is an incredible vacation, tourism-driven economy, vacation destination. And we should have a product that we can push, that not just the product's being pushed, but then all the ancillary items that come from it. Because then all of a sudden you can do like tours of date farms. You could have like a mobile food truck that does date shakes. I mean, you could just build off of it as long as everybody got on board with like the one item that could be the date thing. Like we're about to have this hockey arena, right?
Yeah.
How much will our local community adopt a hockey team? I think we're going to find out. Like I already bought the hat.
What is your expectations for that?
Mine are all over the place because I have a hat just because I want to like,
support
represent, exactly, represent and support. But then part of me just wonders like hockey, the desert. Like, are there a lot of Kings fans out here? Are there a lot of fans of hockey, NHL hockey out here? Are there a lot of people that send their kids to schools that have hockey teams, let's say at the collegiate level? I'm not sure that hockey is going to be necessarily the right sport. At least that's what I'm worried about. But at the same time, I'm hoping that everybody just jumps on board with the idea we have this arena. We could make something out of it.
I think it's going to open the doors for a lot of community members. Like, I've never been to a hockey game, and I've always wanted to go to, like, the Kings or was it the Ducks in Anaheim or whatever?
Sure.
Like, oh yeah, go check it out. I heard it's so much fun to watch it live. And now that it's here, like I'm definitely gonna go to a few games. Like and I feel like a lot of people feel the same.
And that's a great thing about it.
That exposure, boom, like okay, we got that exposure. It'd definitely be a hit with all the like Canadians and retired people from like Minnesota and all that shit that they, the whole Sun City and.
You'd like to think so, sure. You'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, I don't think that's what they're going for, right? I think the idea is to expose it to a new market. There is some synergies between Seattle, where like the feeder club for the Seattle NHL team, and I think there's some synergies between Seattle and our desert as far as visitors and things like that. It's definitely a good thing, and I'm all for it. Like I hope people jump on board, right? I mean, like I went out and bought the hat, same thing. It's like I just want to kind of rock it and represent a little bit. So
I'm excited for concerts too. That's what I would look for.
Imagine if they push dates in the arena. Imagine if there was like, the Riverside Date Festival sponsors the, hockey puck shot from the half, I was going to say half court, but half ice. I guess that's what you say, right? I mean, right? The point being like just getting dates, making dates part of the thing, like put like a date statue in front of the goal or something. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about specifically, right? But what I'm talking about is just from a general standpoint is pushing and marketing a single individual item to be like, this is this is the thing that the desert's known for. Another thing that I think we should be pushing is sunscreen and sunglasses. There is no reason that we don't have like a big time sunglass company that is like Palm Springs Eyewear or something like that, where we're using the brand of it's always sunny and hot here to sell products that protect you from the sun and the heat. Sunscreen kind of comes in handy, and sunglasses. Obviously, someone smarter than me would need to know how to launch that type of business. I've never launched a sunglasses business, so I couldn't tell you how to do it. But, if you're someone who has contacts with influencers and things like that, I mean, a lot of influencers are coming to Palm Springs anyways.
Yeah.
Like Palm Springs has some clout that you want to be in a photo and be able to tag like I was in Palm Springs, even though you were at the JW Marriott in Palm Desert, whatever. Well, we won't hold it against you, right? But you get what I'm trying to say. So, I think we're missing as a local arena, we're missing out on cashing in on some of the, the things that we're really selling. Like what are we really selling to the tourists? We're selling sunshine.
Yeah, a weekend in the desert, the pools, and
good
the palm
weather,
trees
the pools, the palm trees. And what do you need when you're at the pool? You need a pair of sunglasses.
Sunscreen.
You need sunscreen. Maybe you need an ice cold date shake. Doesn't that sound tasty? Right. So I'm just saying those are the kind of things I think the desert is missing out on that type of opportunity to brand itself along those lines with some kind of specific item. You know what I mean?
I like your ideas.
I don't know if my $800 will do it though. Right. I mean, you said I had 1,000. I spent 200 on my mobile Uber ride business, and now I only have 800 left. So I don't know if 800 is enough to do it, but that would be something I would push.
I guess you're trying to create like an experience and something that's like recurring on social media, whether it's like an Uber ride. So your $1,000, you should invest some of it into the marketing. Is like basically what the core of what you're saying.
Like half of it almost probably.
Because
if you can
make yourself different than all your competition, make it a cooler experience than an average Uber ride, an average car wash guy, like whatever.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. I would take whatever I'm doing. I mean, quite frankly, I think this applies to, this is going back to what you said about Desert Underground, and I lifted it from that concept. No matter what you're doing, no matter what your business is, if you have yours be like a little bit cooler, a little bit like flashier, have a little bit more of an experience, it'll do better.
Yeah.
Think about like when you go, I mean, I know it's not quite Halloween yet, but think about when you go trick-or-treating, which houses the kids like the best?
The ones with all the lights.
The ones with all the lights. The people who have decorated a little bit more, made a little bit more of an experience. You need to do the same thing for your business. You need to do the same thing with like whatever it is that you're trying to develop from a make money standpoint, right? Whether it's a business or a service, you'd be surprised how much further it can go if you just do that little added touch. Why do they give you peanuts on an airplane? It's just a little touch. It's a freebie.
Free stuff.
It's something free, make you feel good. Like they give kids little wings on the airplane. Same thing. You go to Disneyland, it's your birthday. They give you the pin, right? Those little touches can go a long way, right? Now, what I'm talking about as far as adopting like something valley wide as like a symbol, like the date or what have you, right? That would be something that we'd have to like have a real marketing campaign to push it off onto like the tourism side of things, right? Where like when you walk in the hotels, you'd be like, hey, welcome to the date capital of the world or what have you, right?
Yeah.
I think right now we're usually calling ourselves the golf capital of the world, which I believe we are, but we're also probably the date capital of the world. We're probably maybe the bell pepper capital of the world. There's some other things going on here that we don't really push as much that I think would be not a bad thing to do. Going back though, let's go back to your actual question. My $800, I'm probably going to do, let's just cut to it. Probably going to do like a marijuana tour, bachelorette parties, something like that. Because those are the industries that are kind of still actively going on right now. Like people are still interested in the growth and distribution of marijuana. So if you did some kind of tour where you're taking people to a place where they can see like a grow house and then maybe taking them to a place like a dispensary where they can buy some for their own recreational use, all legally, of course, and then take them back to their hotel or drop them off at a candy shop or something like that, right? All right. So I think that's kind of low cost maybe type of business you could run. And then the same thing, but kind of clean it up, take away like the marijuana aspect and just do it for bachelorettes, right? If you could, get yourself in contact with a local hotel or spa that wants to do massages or things like that, tied in with like, facials or manicures, pedicures, and then maybe like a lunch spot that has like cutesy little drinks and a place they can take some pictures.
We worked at this lady who's, shout out to Stella Craze. She's actually the one that designed all the stuff, the Coachella sign and like some decorations at the festival we threw. She's doing her bachelorette stuff, and me and Brian went to shoot for her, like to do the video for her. And she literally did that. It was like an Airbnb home. She got some like models and like she brought in like all kinds of like chefs and like a curated experience.
Sure.
So like she'll put the experience together for you. And I didn't even know that was a thing until we did that for her, and now you bring it up. So I'm like, what the fuck? That's like
yeah, right. Any of that kind of stuff. I mean, interestingly, like any kind of concierge style business does pretty well. I mean, I don't say does pretty well. If you're good at it, you can do pretty well with a concierge style business out here, right? If you can throw like next level parties, if you can throw like next level events or what have you, you'll be getting hired from, anything from the HOAs and country clubs themselves, individual home parties, individual kids parties, what have you. You can develop a business that way. Buy a bounce house. Rent it out. I mean, that seems to be like one of those hustles that's not talked about very much. It used to be talked about a lot, but it's not really talked about that
sexy
much
anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think that's I mean,
I've
locally there seems to be not enough bounce houses, right? So I don't know if it'll work to anyone and everyone that's listening to our podcast, but like locally, things for children seem to be at a higher
you got a
need.
bounce house and you make all your promos, but like WWE style. You just get people from the top rope and shit.
That would be awesome. You know, it's kind of funny. You know, you could do it with WWE. You could do it with like a sex sells. You get like good looking ladies in bikinis. Don't get me in trouble for this, right? But you know, that's always something that sells, right? You could do anything from like people laying out inside the bounce house, tanning inside it. I mean, right? You could do anything to garner attention for it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you need to have kids jumping around in it, having a good time, the screaming, the laughing, the little place to park your shoes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those bouncy houses, that's a big hustle because how much does it cost? Like,
I have no idea. I think what I'm really getting at though is like, if you like children, maybe doing the bounce house thing is a good move for you. If you like cars or you like driving, maybe doing the Uber thing is a hustle for you. If you're like interested in, you know, I don't know, selling things at poolside or beachside or something like that, then maybe the sunglasses. So like, I think it all depends on what you yourself are interested in, coupled with what's like a great opportunity around you.
What about the flip game, like flipping thrift store items? And
I don't know much about it. I mean, look, anytime if you know that something you're looking at should be, you know, priced significantly higher than what it's priced for, buy it and sell it for more, right? But that your knowledge is what that secondary buyer is paying for. Like people sometimes feel bad, like, hey, this person's only selling this for $10, but I know it's worth $50. I should probably tell them. Well, like the value is in your knowledge and that you knowing what it's worth, right? So it's not so much you should feel guilty. You're not ripping the person off. They set the price. Yeah. They said what they wanted. You're just giving them what they wanted. The fact that they didn't want more, you feel bad about that? I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, there's some value in that knowledge of knowing what you're looking at and knowing what it's worth or what it can be sold to someone else for. So I don't necessarily look at that as a bad thing all the time. But I mean, I'm not against the flip game, but you have to have some knowledge. Otherwise you'll be buying coffee mugs and next thing you know, you got 30 coffee mugs and nobody wants to buy them from you. Like, what am I gonna do with all these coffee mugs? You know what I mean? So there is, I mean, but look, that's any business. You do the bounce house thing, all of a sudden you have a bounce house, no one jumping around in it. Yeah. So, you know, there's risk in every business, but if you know enough about the market and what you yourself are interested in, frankly, if you yourself are interested in it, then knowing about the market sort of comes easy. Like, I don't think how much, like, if I said to you, how much time are you spending researching musical acts, you know, what would your answer be?
I don't even know. I do it like subconsciously.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because I was like, what's your answer going to be? It's either going to be not at all. I don't at all. Because but you do. You're listening to music all the time. Yeah. So that's like, or you're going to say all the time. Yeah. Like your answers are, I'm either never not doing it or I'm never doing it at all. And the answer of both of those is exactly right, really, even though they're opposite answers, right? So that kind of thing, when you have that built-in knowledge, you know, it makes it easier for you to do the other things, right? So, you know, what do you spend your time looking at in your free time? If you can use that to make money or to create a business, then that's the way to do it. I'm pretty sure Airbnb, like as an entire business model, started because people wanted a place to stay when they went to watch college football games. Like you know, I'm a USC fan personally, so I'm going to go up to San Francisco to watch them play Cal or Stanford, and I need a place to stay. And so I'm pretty sure that's like how Airbnb started, was just solving the problem of I need a place to stay in a small town. You know, some of these colleges are in, you know, smaller towns, and not in LA all the time, or San Diego, right? Some of them are in smaller towns, like Tucson, for example, University of Arizona. So they don't, you know, those hotels can sell out quick. I need another place to stay. A school like Ohio State or Notre Dame or USC that travels really well, Texas, I can name a bunch of them. Next thing you know, there's nowhere to stay. Airbnb is born. So it's like, sometimes it's like you need a little bit of a problem so that you can find a solution. The solution in that solution is your business idea. And then being able to see it, curate it into something that you can share with other people, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people have been trying to rent rooms from people before Airbnb, years, right? So it's kind of one of those things. But I don't know if $1,000 is enough. I don't know if the $1,000 might not be enough for me anymore. Inflation these days, right? I might need more than $1,000 in order to get any business off the ground these days. But this is a difficult question, admittedly, for me, because I'm one of those people that had a path and a plan. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was in college. I kind of knew that this was the path and the plan. Once I became an attorney, I pretty much knew that I wanted to like practice. I didn't want to get into like, you know, insurance or something like that. I wanted to actually be a practicing attorney with clients. So the whole, I saved up more than 1,000 to start the law practice. That's for sure. And I would recommend that most people save up more than 1,000 to start their business. But if all you have is 1,000, look at it as steps. Like it's just steps. Make your 1,000, 1,200, make your 1,200, 1,500, make your 1,500, 2,000. Let's say you need 15,000 to start the business that you want. Just keep churning it till you get it to the number that you need, and then launch your business.
Then you launch your business, and then now you got practices, and you might not even want to start that business once you got the ball rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, you're like, why would I bother?
Ideas, yeah.
Why would I bother selling, copy machines when I can, continue flipping, real estate or used cars or what have you? Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you stumble across the business that could make you the millionaire, right?
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. Well, that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it? I'm off the hook?
That's all you're off the hook today.
All right. Well, you close it. I opened it. You close it.
Well, there you have it. We have 1,000. If I had it, okay. You
can't do anything, Angel. You've completely fallen apart. You've completely fallen apart.
Too much pressure when you throw the ball at me. Now, I think if I had 1,000, I would start flipping stuff. Start flipping stuff, and then, I don't know, like if making videos is part of the equation, because I could just make videos on the phone.
If you had $1,000, you would sponsor the next Desert Underground.
Oh yeah, if I had $1,000, I would guarantee you your business will be all over the internet and the next one for sure.
Yeah, there's a video of you getting arrested and beaten by the police wearing the shirt that says
better go on World Star and the food community. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys tune in for next week's episode. And give us your questions, because we will love to answer your questions on the podcast as well.
Thank you for listening to this Angel and the Advocate podcast. If you have any questions, submit them in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.